In this module, we will be covering the legislation search form. We will be looking at how to reach the form, the various fields that are available for searching, some examples of how you might use them, as well as some other useful links available on the page. It's important to remember the searching principle of terms and connectors applies across LexisLibrary, regardless of which search box you are using. For more assistance using searching and connectors, please see further iLearning modules. You can access the legislation search form in two ways. Firstly, you can click on the Legislation tab at the top of the home page directly. Alternatively, you can click on the Search button by the side of an individual legislation source on your bookshelf. For this example, we will use Scottish Parliament Acts. This opens the form and populates the source to be searched as the one you have chosen. We will now look at the search fields available on this page. There are boxes to enable you to search title, the year, tick boxes to search for acts or statutory instruments, the series number for searching for SIs where you know the citation, provision box to find a specific section of a piece of legislation, and a part or schedule search field if you wish to return just a specific part of an act or SI. There is also a large search terms box, which is the widest search area on the form. Entering terms in this box will search all of the text of the legislation selected. Finally, there's a drop-down area to enable you to change which source is to be searched. Simply click on the drop-down and change the source as required. We will now look at using the form to run some searches. To find a particular piece of legislation and return results showing the whole act, simply enter the title into the search box using the AND connector if you are unsure of the exact title. For example, you could enter Control of Dogs Scotland in the title, enter 2010 in the year field. We will then tick the Act box just underneath to ensure that the correct database is searched. We will then click the search icon. This will return a list of results showing all sections of the Act. We will now return to the legislation search form using our breadcrumb trail and run a search to drill down to a particular section of legislation. If you know the specific section of an Act you wish to view, you simply need to populate the provision field with the section number you're looking for. For this example, we will enter the number 4 into the provision field and click on the search icon to return the results. As you can see, this is displaying Section 4 of the Control of Dogs Act Scotland. We will now look at searching an Act using some search terms. To do this, we will return to our search using the breadcrumb trail at the top left-hand side of the screen. In order to perform a new search, we must first clear the form. We can do this by clicking on the blue link at the bottom right-hand side of the screen. For this example, we will search for Bankruptcy Scotland in the title field, select Act in the tick box, and if you have some words you would like to find within the body of the legislation, you can enter the terms into the search terms box. For example, disqualification provisions. We will now click on the search icon to return the results. This will then display a results list where disqualification provisions appears within Bankruptcy Scotland Act 1985. We will now use our breadcrumb trail to return to the legislation search screen. Once again, we can clear the form using the blue link on the right-hand side of the screen. We will now look at finding a statutory instrument by title and year. Often SIs have long and detailed titles, so it's best to pick out a few keywords in the title and put the AND connector in between those words rather than just typing in the exact title. For example, to find the SI Licensing Scotland Act 2005, Consequential Provisions Order 2009, you could simply enter the search string licensing and consequential provisions, and Scotland into the title field. (2009) into the year field, tick the SI box, and then finally click Search. This will show you the SI requested. We will now look at finding an SI by citation. Let's return to a search form using the breadcrumb trail. We will now find an SI by citation. First, we must clear our previous search information by clicking on the Clear Form link on the right-hand side. We can now enter the year we are searching for, select SI in the tick box. Lastly, we will enter the series number in the appropriate field. And then click on the search icon. This will again show us the SI requested. We will now return to the legislation search form using the breadcrumb trail. One of the most powerful features of searching on LexisLibrary is the ability to restrict our search to return documents relating to a particular topic. Every document on the site is categorised with the key topics it covers. Simply click on the blue Add Topics to Search link further down the page. You can then either choose the whole topic or drill down and to choose subcategories. This can be done by clicking the plus sign beside the relevant topic. We are then able to select the relevant box or boxes. In this case we will use discrimination and employment law, and then click OK to add it to our search. This will now appear as an added filter in our search within Topics You Added. We will now look at some of the other links available on the legislation search form. On the left is a link to search international content where available on your subscription, as well as a link to request historical versions of legislation on a particular date. This is an email service and the database goes back around 10 years. You can also access our tutorials and help topics on the left-hand side. There's a search tips link just under the search terms box, plus a citation help guide just to the right of the SI series number box. We will now click on the LexisLibrary logo to return us to the home page. So to summarise, we have looked at how to reach the legislation search form, the various fields that are available for searching, and have gone through some examples of how you might use them. Finally, we've looked at the other useful links available on the page which might prove useful. For further assistance, please see further iLearning modules.